when we expect perfection like that, when we'll sit there and we'll eat a cheeseburger and say, it's not the best, and we compare everything to perfection, it means that we have things pretty damn good. But we miss that because we're so accustomed to things being good, that's just Wednesday for us. Instead, we should focus on how good things are. Should we stop striving for perfection? Well, it's interesting, isn't it? What's the one area that so few people really strive for perfection and expect perfection in? Ourselves. We're great at expecting perfection out of a cheeseburger. We're great at expecting perfection out of other people. We're great at expecting perfection. Heck, even as students, we expect perfection out of our teacher. Can I go back and relive that moment? Does that mean I grab an AK-47 and go stand in the Mediterranean? No, it won't be the same. Why? Because no one steps in the same river twice. A thing that made you happy today might not make you happy a year from now, 2 years from now. And so if you're trying to go back and revisit those things that made you happy, you're probably going to find that it's not quite the same. Why? Because you can't step in the same river twice. The river changes, or you change. What will make you happy is not the movie itself, but the memory of how that movie made you feel. But you can't go back and relive the movie. You live your life. You try things. You take risks on things. And once in a while, something strange happens. You find yourself standing in the Mediterranean saying, I'm happy right now. And you find yourself just eating something simple like a cheeseburger and go, I'm happy right now. You find yourself not under the Eiffel Tower, maybe, but maybe just on a couch somewhere with someone. You go, I'm happy right now. You can't be happy right now unless you can learn to be grateful right now. And understand that every minute that we're spending thinking about the war over there, the less time we're thinking about the problems of our own lives. So what I'm saying is that we have these same kind of problems of our lives, and then we remain ignorant of them because we distract ourselves with the problems of other people's lives. It's a hell of a thing, man. Life teaches us that we're never happy except at the price of some ignorance. The assertion, as we kind of pointed out already, seems to be that the only way to be happy is to be ignorant about the world. And notice that when we say things like that, a lot of us just kind of nod our heads, like we take for granted the idea that if you know about the world, that you're going to be dissatisfied, you're going to be unhappy, and you're going to see terrible things about the world. But I mean, are there wars going on? Yeah. Is there disease? Is there famine? Is there starvation? Or is there? Yeah, all of these things are true. But what else is going on? Because literally any sixth grader, any fifth grader with a phone can start to rattle off all of the problems of the world. But here becomes the real issue. What are the solutions? And that's where we typically stop. But man, there's another level beyond just that. What's going well in the world? What's going right? And if you say nothing, then you really, really need to broaden the scope of what you're taking into your head. Because there's a lot going on right in the world right now. You know, it's funny that we can talk about, we can talk a lot about like P. Diddy and all the stuff that's going on with him, but we can't name who the most recent Nobel Prize winners were. We can't name who are the people in the world who are trying to make their world a better place. We can't talk about recent scientific advancements that would cure diseases. We can only talk about the really negative things. My guess is that with the positive stuff, we haven't subscribed to the things that are positive. We're not watching the right channels, we're not looking for the right information because the stuff that we're getting shoved to us through an algorithm is all negative. But you're gonna find that the things that get shoved to you through the algorithm are being shoved to you because that's what you're looking into. So what is it that you're looking into? Is it all the negative? Are we ever even looking for the positive? There's this old story that someone told me one time. I was a little kid, but for some reason it really stuck with me. There's a woman on the beach with a baby, little, cute chubby baby with a hat, and she's sitting there playing with her baby. All of a sudden the skies turn dark, and she looks up in a lightning storm, and this big old wave just goes boom and lands on her, and then drags her baby out to sea. And she gets up and she starts shaking her fist at the sky, cursing God. She's like, what is wrong with you? What kind of a God would steal a baby from someone like this? Just as she says that, another wave goes boom and hits her. And when she gets up, the baby's back in her arms. She's looking around, she goes, he had a hat. In other words, she's complaining something really good just happened, but it wasn't perfect. Still missing the hat. You know? And that we approach life a lot of times like that. And it tells us, by the way, something really, really important about ourselves. When we expect perfection like that, when we'll sit there and we'll eat a cheeseburger and say, I mean, it's not the best, and we compare everything to perfection, it means that we have things pretty damn good. But we miss that because we're so accustomed to things being good, that's just Wednesday for us. Instead, we should focus on how good things are. Should we stop striving for perfection? Well, it's interesting, isn't it? Like, what's the one area that so few people really strive for perfection and expect perfection in? Ourselves. We're great at expecting perfection out of a cheeseburger. We're great at expecting perfection out of other people. We're great at expecting perfection. Heck, even as students, we expect perfection out of our teacher. We'll sit there and say, it's just boring. In most of your classes, there's 38 of you, one teacher. How much influence does that one person have versus the 38? When everyone just sits around, arms folded, and says nothing. Well, yeah, and we'll try really hard to rationalize a way to make it somebody else's fault, rather than look at ourselves and say, if I want to get something out of this, I need to figure out how to get something out of this. And if I don't want to get something out of this, then I need to stop complaining about it, because that complaining only makes my life worse. Because complaining never makes your life better. And if you ever complain about something and afterwards go, oh, I'm so glad I complained about this. I'm so glad I complained about this cheeseburger. Now my life is better since I've complained about this cheeseburger. But what you will find is that your life is made better by gratitude. Is the cheeseburger perfect? No, nothing really is. But you know what? I have one. There are a lot of people in the world who don't have one. So marry those two concepts of so much in the world is messed up with your own life, and you're going to find that you can have a great deal more gratitude for your own life when you are aware of how messed up some things are around the world. I mean, we get to walk to school, like, oh my God, I have to go to school today. Yeah, you have to? Well, you get to, man. There are people all around the world who would complain about it, who will complain about not being able to go to a school. There are kids in Ukraine who can't walk to school right now because of a fear of war. There are kids in Israel and Palestine who can't walk to school today without fear of those things. And yet, we always kind of think that the grass is greener on the other side. Why? Because we don't water our own side. We're so busy staring at the other side of things. We just stand on ours and we block the sun. We don't take care of our own lawn. We don't cultivate our own gardens. And so it makes it very difficult at that point to appreciate our lives. But once you can learn to appreciate the small things that are just fine, then you can appreciate things that are good even more. And once in a while, when you do get that great thing, that almost perfect thing, you can appreciate that thing so much more. But it just stands to reason. If you can't appreciate your life, you can't enjoy your life. And as Ray said, the happiness is not the default position. You have to find a happiness. How do you find happiness? You can't. That's not true. You can't pursue happiness. Because think about, for example, what your favorite song is today. Your favorite song today, is it the same favorite song you had a year ago? Is it the same favorite song you're going to have a year from now? Think about your favorite food to eat today. Is it the same favorite food from 2 years ago? Will it be the same thing in 2 years? Maybe. But especially as you grow older, those tastes are going to change. And that's what happiness really is. Happiness is a taste. It's something, it's a state right now. So that means that every time you're pursuing it, it's changing. So then you need to pursue something else. Which means if it's about happiness, then it's just going to be a constant process of trying to pursue a thing that's moving. So how is it that you find happiness? It's exactly the way that the phrase describes it. You find it. You discover it. Why? Because you're just doing something. At some point you stop and you go, I'm happy right now. Yeah. I'm thinking about this, that I have a picture of myself standing in the Mediterranean Sea with an AK-47. It's a long story. And I'm standing there at this, and I remember the exact moment. I'm standing there, I go, I'm happy right now. And someone happened to take a picture at exactly that second, and I was thinking that. I have the picture. And I'm just standing there looking out at the ocean. I'm like, I'm happy right now. This is cool. Now, can I go back and relive that moment? Does that mean I grab an AK-47 and go stand in the Mediterranean? No, it won't be the same. Why? Because no one steps in the same river twice. A thing that made you happy today might not make you happy a year from now, 2 years from now. And so if you're trying to go back and revisit those things that made you happy, you're probably going to find that it's not quite the same. Why? Because you can't step in the same river twice. The river changes, or you change, and you go back and try to relive an experience that you've changed. Even if the thing hasn't changed. You ever go back and watch a movie that you loved when you were like 6 and you can't get enough of it? You couldn't get enough of it when you were 6. You watched it on a replay. Now you go back and you watch it and you're like, it's okay. I guess it's fine. Yeah, wait 10 years, wait 20 years. And what will make you happy is not the movie itself, but the memory of how that movie made you feel. But you can't go back and relive the movie. So like I said, so what do? You keep pursuing it, trying to find something else that makes you happy? No. You live your life. You try things. You take risks on things. And once in a while, something strange happens. You find yourself standing in the Mediterranean saying, I'm happy right now. And you find yourself just eating something simple like a cheeseburger and go, I'm happy right now. You find yourself not under the Eiffel Tower, maybe, but maybe just on a couch somewhere with someone, you go, I'm happy right now. So you can't be happy right now unless you can learn to be grateful right now. So practice that. You'll get good at it. You'll get good at anything you practice. If you practice complaining, you'll get really good at complaining. And if I ever start a company and I need to hire professional complainers, I'll know where to go. But if you practice gratitude genuinely, not in the hippy-dippy sense, but you actually practice it, you'll learn. So, questions, comments, concerns, complaints, criticisms? Happy Wednesday-ish. I apologize for my voice. I